We are back with the Next Level Show. And ladies and gents, for the people watching on YouTube, for the people that don't know, we do have a YouTube channel. Go ahead and type in the Next Level Show. Go ahead and hit subscribe. It'll give a thumbs up to this video. We know who you are that actually support the show. We always appreciate you. But as you can see, I'm in a different setting. This is officially my man cave where I hibernate away from everyone. But now I'm bringing it to you more personal. Like, welcome to my crib. I just moved. So it's been a busy, hectic time getting everything situated. But luckily, the show continues on. Mr. Mike, how
Hi.
are you, senor?
I'm tired.
That's
just the word of the day is tired. I feel dead on the inside.
That's life's kicking your ass right now.
Yeah, everything is kicking my ass right now. I just feel stretched super thin, and I'm not overwhelmed by any one part, but everything together by the end of the day, I'm literally like, there's just nothing left, which in a way is good, but it's also taking its toll.
No, we were talking about off air, and we know that's overall, it's tough to manage. And I mean, I think you're at a point in your career as a trainer, that in your business, that you can kind of take this time, a couple months, couple years, even at most, work your ass off, really put in the time. That way, in the next couple of years, you can manage the pace a bit more, and it will start opening up opportunities for you. So I was just talking to somebody about this, and they're feeling like a burnout in their career, and the money's good. They kind of hit their financial stride and everything's going well. But we talked about, I told them flat out that I think that the burnout is a good signal for you, because you've been doing this for a couple of years now. We talked about this even about getting in shape, but when it comes to a financial standpoint, it's the same thing. We strive to make X amount of money to be able to provide a living, maybe pay some things off, or get to a position where we can kind of let off the throttle a little bit, because we realize, I think to a certain point, I think most people to a point that maybe chase, better improvements financially, not necessarily they're chasing a particular number, but just to a place where comfortable, life's good. You need to feel that and understand what really matters. And then you can kind of leverage and create that life that you care for, right? So it's just a nice quote unquote balance. And you can't find true balance, and what that really means for you until you experience what it feels to be off, So I think that's okay. So I think it's going to be a little challenging, but I think you're handling it quite well, man. I mean, given all this stuff, you have a lot of responsibility even with the show and stuff, and it's a lot. We do a lot. So, but
I can't help but think of a well-executed barbell squat viewed from the side. When you're watching that bar path go straight down, and it just cuts the midline of the foot, just buttery smooth, perfect balance. And you got other people that are favoring their toes, other people going more towards the heels. Yeah. And then you just see that one guy off in the corner, you could put a level right next to him. Wouldn't even touch it. That's what I'm trying to achieve. But
I accomplish that perfect linear squat path.
If you were to, I don't know if you do circumference measurements. We do that at Crunch now, which is a new implementation as far as what I do with my clients, as far as tracking progress and everything. But I'm actually liking it a lot, because 9 times out of 10, somebody says they want to lose weight, they're really talking about I just want to lose inches, I want to lose body fat, whatever. So circumference ends up being a pretty good measuring stick for that. If you were to just say generally, what would you say is the most popular area that a woman is looking to reduce circumference in, if she's looking to lose body fat? What do you think that is? Stomach, right? Yeah. Or you got the bingo wings, maybe a little bit of the thigh fat. I've been training these two women together, which we're going to be taking a short break from training. They only paid for a month, but I've been training them two together, and they're hilarious to work with, which I'm actually sad that they're not going to continue for that purpose, because they kind of made my morning a little bit more enjoyable in a certain type of way. But they've been working their butts off, going to classes, training, hitting all the points, tracking their food, doing really well. And of course, the first month, you're not getting post on Instagram results. they saw progress. They reduced their body fat by about 1.5% each. They lost a couple pounds. They're making progress in their weight strength training, which is one of the things that we look for. It's slow and steady progress. It's exactly what I talked to them about when they originally signed up. But the circumference measurements was the funniest part of my day today, because they didn't lose inches in their waist. They didn't lose inches off their thighs, off their arms. They both lost 1.5 inches on their neck circumference, which was just like so fucking random. And they were both joking, like, oh, I'm going to go home to my husband and be like, how's my neck looking, sweetie? Like, it's like, well, I told you, we don't get to pick and choose where it comes from. Like, it's going to come from wherever it comes. And you both happen to lose about 1.5 inches each on your neck. So you're welcome.
And dude, like 1.5 inches, you're thinking about a neck. It's actually a lot. That's a
That's
lot.
kind of the point that I was trying to make, but I didn't want to like insult them, because you could tell that they were like kind of disappointed that it didn't come from hips or waist or whatever, which like they don't have that much to lose anyways, if we're being honest. But the fact that it came from the neck and it was 1.5 inches, like that is actually pretty significant. And that, I usually tell people, if you're putting on body fat, it usually comes from the last place that it was stored. So it was probably starting to go towards their neck without them realizing it. And we just got that last little bit to come off. So
This is true.
I just thought it was kind of funny. And they thought it was funny. Fortunately, of course, they wanted, to lose 40 pounds in a month. Who doesn't? But they knew that wasn't like a reasonable thing to want. And they made progress in other ways, but they just can't financially continue for now. They're going to try and see if they can make it happen a little bit more around the holidays when their work picks up or whatever. But I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, dude. I mean, people don't believe it when you say that you can't spot reduce. You have no control. Like literally, you can wear all the straps, all the wraps. It's not gonna speed up the process. And that's I can't believe that this stuff still gets sold. I mean, I guess it's like if you're someone that's new, you can't argue with someone that hasn't. We've gone through it for years now, so we understand it. But I think that it's still kind of hard to believe for that new person, right? So I mean, you can't knock them too hard. This is why we create shows and episodes around stuff like this to kind of help you understand, like from our personal experience, also working with like just a variety of different personalities and people in all different walks of life. This is true, man. It's been proven anecdotally and also scientifically. There's literature to support that this doesn't happen. You can target your abs or whatever X body part. It's not going to speed up the process. It's going to pull from where it wants to. So, but it's overall, you're going to be happy with the end result if you stick this out, because yeah, it might not be going at the pace that you in your mind have perceived it to happen, but it's happening. This is like the weird thing about even when I competed. This is when I really saw it, because I was never like a super heavy person. I've never been like with a lot of excess body fat. I'm just not built that way. I think if I really was just to let my life go to shit, and maybe I will gain like that big gut and maybe see some of that, excess body fat, but it would definitely take me a lot of work to get that. My body just doesn't crave that much food. I'm kind of the opposite. I'll just go down the other way. And when I was competing, last place to go was my back, with my low back. It was just the last place my body held. My face started kind of caving in at one point before my back. It's weird. Like I had to get really lean. My face was also like getting really lean. And I don't have big cheeks. So it's like you could definitely see the bone structure of my face. It looked just weird. But then my back kind of sucked in. It finally just tapped into that level, but I didn't get to choose. I could have put all the lotions and creams to speed up the process, which would have been bullshit. Wouldn't have happened. So, moral of the story here, guys, that's why taking measurements from all different aspects, weight, body fat, and measurements, I think are super powerful. You can kind of get a good understanding, and obviously pictures too. I also like pictures, and just kind of be objective with it. Just understand that this is just how it works. You're
Yeah.
not special to that. You're not going to be the exception to the rule. Everyone stores it differently. So everyone going through it looks a little different while it's happening. And it may, but I think it does, their body does a really good job at overall doing it. Because imagine if realistically, if you were like trying to lose like 50 pounds of body fat and it's kind of dispersed all over your body and it only went away from your stomach, like everything else just kind of stayed the same amount of fat, that would look really weird. If you
That would.
really just imagine that for a second, like you have a lot of body fat right now, let's just say, and you lose it just from your waist, that would look so odd with just big chubby arms, big chubby face and neck, arms, legs and glutes, and you just have this very waspy little waist. Your body's designed in a very efficient way, and I think this to kind of try to tamper that, you just don't understand how that would really look into like realistically. Just imagine people that take liposuction and they're still severely overweight, and they try to do that, they try to go that route. Their body looks unproportionately like exaggerated. We
Yeah.
have a natural way of being that even our eye can pick up on it. It doesn't look weird. It doesn't look normal, right?
Yeah.
So
I always make the point, it's like if it were as easy as just like train your core and you'll lose body fat off of your waist, like I think America would be a completely different state of health if it were that easy. I mean, I don't think we'd have an obesity problem anymore. All you have to do is a couple crunches and you're good to go. Like the shit's fucking hard. Like it's really hard to lose weight, and to
yep.
successfully keep it off is even harder still. So I mean, anytime somebody sits across the table from me and is like, I've lost 30 pounds so far, I'm like, dude, congratulations. That's actually a big fucking deal. And they're like, ah. And I'm like, no, seriously, like, it's not easy. People pay me to help them lose weight. And sometimes it takes a while. And some people don't see it all the way through, unfortunately. So I love hearing like people actually sticking it out. But I don't know if I wish it was that easy or if that would put me out of a job one way or the other. I mean, yeah, that's not how it works.
This is why we have a job, because it just, unfortunately, it's been proven time and time again that no matter how many cool fat burner programs come out or app torching circuit there are created and marketed, the human body just doesn't respond that way. So I think we're safe to say that we're going to have a job for a very long time. And no matter how much tech evolves, I think tech will have its place. But what we do is very different because we are human beings and we understand the process. Maybe technologically you can set up the perfect algorithm, the perfect setup, the perfect outline of a plan, kind of like what they do with certain other surgeries and procedures. Like you can outline kind of what this is, but a human touch that has experience can foresee maybe stuff that the computer may not. Even
Yep.
though the program paper is perfect, once you're going through it, we have to account for moods, adherence. And we're going to get into this because we're going to talk about we've talked about the importance of losing fat and what the main principle here is a calorie deficit. And this is stuff that maybe you're searching how to lose weight. A lot of coaches are now using this phrase, you don't need to do this, and this, that, nothing matters, calorie deficit. And I think that these two words are true, but then there's more to this. We want to clarify that, yes, it is 100% true that a calorie deficit is the only way to lose the weight that you want to lose from the total body. And we discussed you can't control where. Now, there's more to this calorie deficit. And I think this is where a lot of coaches, when they're making content, I don't know if they intentionally do this, but they're leaving this out because, like you said, if it was just as easy as doing a couple crunches and you got rid of your belly fat, it would be super. We wouldn't have a quote unquote job at this point. We wouldn't have anything to do because it's like, oh yeah, just do like crunches every single day and you will get your abs. It has nothing to do with energy balance, in this case, calories, right? But no, there's other factors that are going to contribute to this principle that is scientifically true. It's the only way. If you've lost any type of weight at any given point and any diet, it's the result of the principle of a calorie deficit. Now, we obviously know that we can't just tell someone this and they would fully understand the other moving parts that they don't consider. And we know this because we have to apply this with our clients to give them the results that they desire and explain it thousands and thousands and thousands of times at this point. So we kind of want to get into it. We already established that the main thing here, and I know, Mike, you're doing the notes here, so like we'll make a point here. We know that the only way to lose weight is through a calorie deficit. This is considering body fat, like fat, adipose tissue, and just the overall weight on the scale. Now, these things are a little bit different. Body fat is obviously going to look, when you lose body fat combined with like obviously just the weight, it can look a lot different than just weight in general. When you're pulling from muscle and fat, your body will look very, very different. And I know a lot of people want to lose fat. they don't care about losing their muscle. No one says like, yeah, I just want to lose all my muscle. Like, I just got to get rid of this muscle. Like, no one has ever in my career ever told me that. Like, yeah, I'm just too muscular. I just want to lose all this muscle. So understanding that what you really want is to lose fat. And the way you got to go about this is we're going to talk about some factors that are going to help you prioritize fat loss versus just your weight. Because if I told you just don't eat excess amount of movement, you will just lose a lot of weight, but you'll look not ideal or probably what you have envisioned in your mind. So factors that can help you adhere or stay consistent with a calorie deficit. I think the main point is a very obvious one. I think this really is a basic but a game changer for a lot of my clients. And Mike, you can tell me like maybe one that comes to mind. And it's hydration, drinking more water. And people say like, it's just water, man. There's nothing crazy. It's almost like when the Space Jam, the original one, when they drink the water, the Looney Tunes get all pumped up and they perform and they start kicking ass. And it's like that little placebo effect. Kind of this is what's going to happen to you guys when you start finally feeling hydrated. A lot of people, day to day, average Joe, is in a constant state of just being dehydrated. Their pee is like super dark yellow. They barely go to the bathroom. They go all day or hours without going to the bathroom. Their pee is super gold yellow or darker yellow. And that's just a normal state for people. When you bump up their water, the first thing they feel is like, holy shit, I feel so much better. But they also experience is a drop in weight. I'll let you take it from here, Mike.
Well, and I just want to preface this. I think that's very well put, very well said. Water facilitates a lot of functions in your body. We are, what's the saying, 75% water, 80% water, whatever the statistic is. We are mostly water. So yeah, you need to keep that replenished. And then also, just as a little caveat, because I know at least one person out there is thinking this right now. I hydrate. I drink lots of soda. I drink lots of juice. I drink lots of coffee, whatever else. That's not what we're fucking talking about. Water as water. You can put some like powdery stuff in there to make it taste different, or the Mios or whatever. But it's got to be water. The only thing that comes close to water is tea or coffee, which is predominantly both made out of water. We're not talking about drinking fucking soda. That doesn't count. You're not hydrating yourself. I've literally had somebody be like, "Oh, well, I stay pretty hydrated," and I'm like, "What do you like to drink if you don't drink water?" Because they're like, "I don't like water," and I'm like, "How do you not like water?" I drink a lot of diet soda, and I'm like, "That doesn't fucking count, dude. It doesn't fucking count. It's not water." But yeah, that makes a really big difference, and it's kind of like you will feel better without realizing that you feel worse with water. If you're not drinking a lot of water and you start drinking a lot of water, you're going to feel better in a way that you may not expect, because it's just not something that you've ever really done before. And again, especially if you're replacing soda with water, that's going to make a big difference in your fat loss pursuits, just generally speaking.
No, I think this is like a very good point to make. And water does a big part of your life. And yeah, I know what you're saying. People say that I don't like water because it doesn't taste like anything, or you just don't like the quote unquote non-existing taste. I'm like, what?
If it doesn't taste like anything, then what is there to not like?
Other people can like taste something in it. I've drank all types of water, bad water, good water, water that's like obviously more enjoyable, that you like actually feel like, wow, this is actually like really thirst quenching. But other waters, like it tastes like metal. So I've tasted all kinds of water.
I guess.
I get it though, but I mean, I'm not spoiled with that. I don't have any brand preference. And now for the people that are like trying to make this more complicated, because I know people will even complicate fucking water. Alkaline water is not going to make any difference. Your pH levels don't make that much drastic of a difference when it comes to hydration and losing fat. No matter what the small bit of science will show improvements in percentages and all this, on the grand scheme of things, guys, it doesn't fucking matter. And I'll just say that to you guys. Like, don't worry about buying expensive water. Just buy just fucking water and drink water all day. And I would push, for the average person, it's more than safe to push a gallon a day. It's a very easy metric, because you can say like X amount of pounds or by your body weight and all this, and to stop complicating it, aim for a gallon. If you're a very small person, a gallon might be excessive, but you have a target to hit. That's very it's just easy to look at. I just carry it around with me, or I try to hit this amount of bottles or these amount of liters in my little half liters. Sure, whatever works for you. I don't really have a preference. It's just as long as you have a target in mind. By this alone, guys, you will start to hydrate the cells. That makes fat loss a lot more doable while you're also adhering to your calorie deficit. Another hack with the water is just going to make you feel full. You'll feel like you have something in your stomach. A lot of people that have those cravings or they feel like they're hungry, a lot of times that's just your body asking to be hydrated and fill it up with some water. And normally that kills a lot of the cravings. That's why fasting with and drinking and staying hydrated is such a powerful thing, because you're blunting a lot of the signal, because for the most part your body can do just fine without a day without eating. You'll be completely fine. If you stay hydrated, it's going to really kill the cravings and you'll be okay. You'll feel fine and you'll run pretty optimally. So that's kind of my point with the water. I'm trying to think if there's anything else with water before we transition. I don't know if Mike, if you have anything.
No,
Cool.
not that I could think of.
Awesome. So another thing that's going to help, another factor that's going to help with staying in a calorie deficit is really keeping track of your movement. This is very important because while you're doing your dieting, you're cutting down, you're getting leaner, you're losing already a good chunk of weight, naturally your body's going to try to regulate that. And there's a lot of talk about eating low calories, that you stop losing weight and everything. This is another factor that I feel a lot of people overlook, and is their overall movement in the day. This can be through a time setting. Let's say you make a goal to hit 20 minutes or 30 minutes of walking every single day. Let's say you're in a calorie deficit, your desire to do that might start to go down. So you naturally start to maybe skip days, maybe start cutting them down. I, on the contrary, I would keep it consistent and or increase the movement while you're going through the calorie, your calorie deficit, your process of losing weight. So keeping track of that either through time or through a wearable of your choice is a very good way to ensure that you're hitting your targets. What allowed me to not continue to go down super low in calories was just starting to ramp up my movement gradually as well. Even though my body, the last thing I wanted to do was spend some time doing cardio per se, or scheduling time to go outside and move, your body naturally tells you like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm trying to preserve as much energy as I can. And this is where people will start to fall into, and they think that there's something wrong with them. They think that, oh, the diet isn't working or the workouts aren't working, but they haven't noticed or haven't checked that their movement overall has gone down throughout the week. So I think keeping a nice consistent pattern, a client of mine that's having tremendous success, he highlighted that no matter what, every day he gets an hour of walking total in a day. So, and that's without fail. And that's what's kept him consistent. He doesn't do like elliptical or cardio high intensity. He just makes it a point to walk. And it doesn't matter if he knows he has a lot to do that day, and he's not going to want to do it at nighttime. He'll wake up an hour early and go walk. And I think that this is a very easy way to kind of make sure that you're adhering to it, because walking doesn't take much thinking. You're just going. And it's not about burning excessive amount of calories. It's just making sure that your movement stays overall consistent throughout the day, because you're going to have your days where you're more of a couch potato. Let's be real. But if you keep that factor in consistently throughout the day and overall on your average, you should not see a decline, and it should actually allow you to continuously see the movement, your weight, your body fat start to change and go down, and your weight going down, all that good stuff.
Yeah, the biggest example that comes to mind on movement is what happened when you and I were both fasting for 48 hours.
Mm,
All the normal nervous tics went away, like foot tapping and fidgeting and all that stuff. My I didn't even have to think. I wasn't actively not moving. My brain just literally turned all of those extra activities off, and
mhm.
I tried to move as little as possible without actively trying to move as little as possible. And it was just because there was no energy there, and my body was trying to run as efficiently as possible. So I mean, it's not something that you're necessarily going to think like, oh, I'm in a calorie deficit, I'm going to move less. It's not a conscious effort
Conscious
on your
thing.
part. You're doing it subconsciously. Your brain is kind of managing your energy systems without your permission, and then you are kind of having to actively go in there and be like, no, I need to move a little bit more, I need to go for a walk, I need to do this, get on your feet. And I'm also noticing this about myself now, because I'm not eating like I should be. I'm way more tired than I normally am. I'm super low on energy pretty much all the time, except for caffeine. And I'm standing 8 hours a day. My new Apple Watch is telling me I'm hitting my standing goal by noon, which is insane for me to think about for too long. But my steps are like below 5,000, which is kind of confusing me if I think about it for too long, because I'm standing a lot, but I'm not moving a lot because I'm super low on energy. So just to kind of give like a little bit of a practical example, I guess.
Yeah, no, I wear an Apple Watch and I've worn Fitbit. I've worn all different wearables. And what I noticed, dude, is that when I was moving this past weekend, bro, like I didn't check all my steps like for Saturday, the main move, but the day I had already technically moved in and I was still kind of going back and forth and just getting a couple things. Dude, my by like 7 or 8 o'clock, no, yeah, 7 or 8 o'clock, I was like at 18,000 something steps, dude.
Whew.
Bro, I had moved, and I realized, dude, like in the last, even Monday, I was still doing a lot of organizing, and I don't have a couch yet. So in the living area or in the kitchen, I stand a lot. So I'm standing tremendously, and dude, my Apple Watch started registering the exercise, like it started doing the green thing
Yeah.
around the ring. My knees, my feet, dude, by like Friday, no, by two, no, yeah, by Monday at in the evening, dude. It was only like 6 o'clock with my client. I noticed my fucking knees were like tired. More because I'm not adapted. I probably went from like 12,000 on average. That's pretty sure what I'm doing. And I added another 5 to 6,000 steps. It's a massive increase, and your body will feel that. And I did lose a couple pounds as a result because I was too busy to really eat high calorie. My diet went to shit that day, like that weekend, because I didn't have any food or anything organized in the kitchen yet. But to make the point that having a wearable, you can see these things and it just allows you to make adjustments. If you notice your goal is, hey, I'm only hitting 3,000 steps, just go for a 20-minute walk, and increase that by, up to 5,000 steps, possibly, depending on how many steps you take. So, or you can just try to hit the target overall and not really scheduling maybe a designated hour time to walk. Maybe you do during your break at work. Maybe you go after you eat 10 minutes, you go and walk after you have dinner. Like you're already going to eat dinner. So you just add a little bit of movement after that. And you just kind of make that a habit. Or you make it a point that now I'm walking the dog more because now we live in a community that like allows to go to the dog park. I have to walk over there. I can walk around a specific part of my community that I know that I'm doing that at least like twice or three times a day. So I'm actively attaching things that I'm already going to do anyways, and it just allows me to keep my movement up. So you can find hacks in your personal life or ways to do this, but walking I think is super underrated. It goes a long way, guys. You don't have to set up a time for the cardio equipment. You can. I'm not saying you can't, but and calculating your movement with time and steps is going to be an easy way to ensure that you're not starting to do what your body naturally wants to do, which is chill out a little bit.
Yep. And then as a side benefit, fun fact for you, going for a walk after eating is actually going to aid you in your digestive process. So
I like that you brought that up. Yes, sir. That is
yeah.
another big thing, that another perk that's going to help you. Typically, what happens when you're full, right? You don't want to move, dude. You want to just like lay there and go to sleep. But on the contrary, if you go out there and start walking, your digestive is going to, help kind of start the process, and you're going to feel a lot better. You're going to kill that like that sluggy type of
Yep.
feeling that you get. And you're not doing something that you're going to go run and throw up, right? You're just going to do something very passive. This is a practice that people I can make a massive difference to your health, your relationship with food, a lot of benefits. But to keep it on target, you have to take account for your movement. If you're not, you're dropping the ball there. There's a one factor that can definitely change the game to your current program, whatever you're following. Are you ready for the next point?
Yes.
All right, cool. So the next thing, the last point that I kind of wanted to make, and this is kind of a combination of two things together. Point number 3 is going to be managing your stress and managing your sleep. These are kind of like duh to some people, maybe not so obvious to others. Now, why? Management, sleep and stress management are going to be super critical to help you in your calorie deficit, because if you're in a good mood and you're rested, this will allow you to improve your adherence to your current program or whatever you're trying to accomplish. Mike knows right now he does not want to squat his max right now. You know, he does not want to
Yeah.
train chest at full velocity like he would if he had gotten a full night of sleep, good amount of calories. Just managing your stress, managing your sleep is a fucking banger when it comes to your success, dude. Like straight up. And like I noticed, dude, like when I'm such a grouchy mother effer, like when I don't sleep, dude. Like I am the worst person to hang out with. My mood is just I don't want to do anything. The last thing I want to do is train. Your body's achy and tired. You're more irritable. So likely the almost insignificant things are going to stress you the F out. I'm trying to do a better job of not swearing as much as people are trying to notice, but so it occasionally comes out.
Fuck that.
but but yeah, dude, you're stressed out over stupid stuff that you normally wouldn't be. And that's just if but what I notice and when I'm sleeping properly, I need less stimulants. I'm more excited to work out because I'm just in a better mood and I feel more, motivated. I like to throw that in there too. Your motivation will go up when you're not bombarded with stress and sleep deprivation. I know obviously Mike can't control this. He has a new baby, going through a new phase in his life. So this is obviously it's never going to be perfect throughout your life. And maybe you have a time where you're just too thinkative, a lot of things in your mind, it's going to affect your sleep. But in the grand scheme of things, overall, you should be striving to hit an X amount of sleep per night, and that's going to help you kind of navigate the other areas. Like we said, adherence is everything. You can have all the answers, or you can have the best program, you can have the best diet, but if you're not able to do the days, and you're not able to do the workouts or adhere to your diet, doesn't matter. It's a good program on paper. It looks fantastic. But if the execution isn't there, you're not sticking to it 80% of the time, 90% of the time, then the program is a bad program. It's not good for you. So I don't know, Mike, what do you have to say this? I know this is a very like current situation with you.
Yeah, I mean, I would honestly say that this episode is actually like personally attacking me right now. Um, None of these points are things that I can say I'm consistently hitting currently, but I'm aware of that effect. And yeah, I'm not training basically at all right now. Any reps that I give as far as examples go, that's about it. But I would say that stress and sleep probably weigh more heavily than people really think they do. I think of it as like the level of stress that you have and the amount of sleep that you're getting consistently. Those are kind of creating almost like the room in which this sort of stuff is happening or this progress happens. And if you have really shitty stress levels and you're not sleeping very well, you're doing all of this in a very small room. Any progress that you're having is limited by this very small amount
Mm,
because of the amount of stress that your body's already under. And losing weight is a stress to your body. Building muscle is a stress to your body. If you're not sleeping and you're already super stressed, that's extra stress on your body. And there's only so much that you can really get out of any exercise or weight loss adventure if you're already, pushing yourself to the limits by working a full-time job, raising two kids, going to school, being a spouse, all these extra things. And then you're going into a calorie deficit and you're walking a whole bunch. It can all add up to a very frustrating situation because you're not managing your stress, because you're not sleeping very well. So think of it like this. I mean, as far as I know, every living being in the world sleeps, right? I don't think, hi, Katara, speak of the devil. I can't think of any animals that don't need to sleep in some capacity. So it is at least important enough that everything that breathes needs to sleep at some point. And that's something that I'm 1,000% guilty of
well, I've said it on
right
the
now.
show many times that it's something that I have to work extremely hard to make sure that I discipline myself to have a good nighttime routine. A lot of people stress about glorified morning routines, like, oh, I got wake up at 5 in the morning. But if you're going to sleep at 2 or midnight, who cares
Yeah.
if you wake up at 5? You're better off sleeping those extra 2 hours. And maybe you don't have 2 hours to yourself in the morning, but you're more rested in the morning. You're going to be more productive in the day, anyways. So I would say prioritize going to bed and getting good sleep. Then you can worry about the morning routine. You don't have to put that much attention. This is going to allow your day just to flow, man. And you'll notice that your body will start to regulate itself. People that have a consistent habit with it, they notice that they get tired around the same time, and your body will figure it out and kind of give you those signals that you need. So definitely ways to improve it, man, is just Try to stop doing work up to the moment that you go to sleep. Stop, give yourself a minimum of 30 minutes to decompress from work, emails, social media, um, what else? Your phone, just in general, look, texting, having conversations, arguing with your girlfriend or boyfriend about nonsense, and like just in general, dude, just stop like looking at the news right before bed and all that. So just kind of give yourself some quiet time to decompress, read a book, chill, lay in bed in the dark, just kind of let your body just stop, and that's going to allow you to get you into that mode. Hey, I'm going to be able to crash a lot easier because, you prepared yourself properly for that. And watch how watch how everything else falls into place. Not even just your workouts and your adherence to your diet and your movement and your all the other things. Just watch how everything else gets better in your life.
Yep, your mood will improve a lot too. That goes without saying. Also, you can double down on some of these if you're trying to increase your activity levels and you're trying to manage your stress and sleep better. You can actually go for walks in the morning right after you wake up, as long as the sun is up. Sunlight entering your little eyeballs first thing in the morning actually reduces serotonin in your system, which is a stress hormone. And it'll also help regulate your circadian rhythm, which will help you sleep better at night. So there's another reason to walk, and it'll also help you sleep and manage your stress a little bit better throughout the day.
I think we did a perfect job at segueing and completing this episode. And I think this should help a lot of our listeners improve their journey, because like we said, it is already stressful. It's already tiring. It's already tough. This is going to drastically improve your process, get there much more efficiently, and not hate your life the whole way. And, doing something good. Our body's perceiving stress, everything we do, and the hormones are spiking, all different balances are happening, all things are, going on. But good stress and bad stress, moments that they're going to be higher than others. But overall, taking care of the big rocks as best as you can are the only things you can control for the most part. Do the best you can, navigate. It's not going to be 100% perfect, but as long as you're consistent, making that effort, you're going to crush it. And if you have any questions, as always, we're here to help you guys.
Of course. I have a very important question for you.
Go for it.
Do you know why bakers are so rich?
Because they make that bread.
Yeah, or they make a lot of dough.
I was close. I was trying to make up for Gabe's absence today.
They both, I think they both qualify.
Is that it? We everything taken care of today? Any other announcements?
I think that's it. I'm also fairly confident that working the clutch counts as steps. I was kind of trying to pay attention because it's obviously like back and forth, and it's on my watch is on my left side, and the clutch is obviously on the left side too. I think it was counting it.
Okay. Hey, I'll take it.
Bonus.
Well, we'll leave this up this episode. We'll leave this up, wrap it up for our listeners. If you guys like this information, please go ahead and let us know if there's anything we can do to help you specifically, any questions, any topic ideas. This was presented by a client of mine that I appreciate the question. And I think that we were able to break this down for maybe someone else that's kind of maybe going through this. And hopefully this helps. Share this with someone else that you may know that, hey, is going through this process and thinking like they're doing everything right. Maybe they are like not doing one of these points, and this can dramatically improve their health and fitness journey. And they will thank you for putting them on to an amazing fitness podcast. The Next Level Show. We are here. Follow us on Instagram at The Next Level Show. My personal account is at John Alba Fitness. Gabe is at Prime and Glory. And Mr. Mike is at Mike Nillis PT. Until the next one.